Ever since POE2 launched, it's been a pretty runaway success. The online player numbers have been ultra healthy for almost 2 weeks. The daily peak player count on Steam was more than double the all-time peak player count for POE1 of around, POE1's all-time peak was around 220,000, and the daily peak for POE2 has been around 400 some thousand or 440,000. It has now dropped a teeny bit in the last couple days, um, though even now it's very healthy. And I believe that that underrepresents how popular this early access is because I think there's many more people playing on console in PoE2 than really played console PoE1 because of the console controller focus and the marketing push that it was available on console. And every one of these players paid to play the game. It wasn't free to play like PoE1 has been for its entirety. And so I think this really represents a dramatic success. And very thrilled for GGG and also us as players to have such an amazing game. I love the game. I definitely prefer the structure of the game to PoE1. I mean, there's of course things that aren't done and things that will improve, but I massively prefer the more engaging combat and the the more varied builds with more buttons and I love the cheaper respecking and the animations that are just more interesting and having player mobility options that are not all just taking Frostblink teleport. Um, and so, yeah, I'm absolutely in love with the game. But we all are aware of the folks posting talking about how difficult it is, how they'd like to see it nerfed, how they can't finish bosses, and this video is going to be an attempt to try to create a handhold to show a little bit of how this game does not need to be as difficult or as grueling as people experience it. I mean, the first time through the game, it took me about 12 hours to finish Act 1, which is quite a long time, but we're looking at the scenery. I didn't have the horrifically grueling experience. I mean, partially because I expected to die to bosses and learning mechanics, so I have no problem with that. Die, click the respawn button, and go. But also, I've now repeated this Act 1 a few times on different classes after I understand the game, and it has only taken, I would say, 3 hours-ish to finish Act 1 on multiple classes, on Warrior and on Witch. I haven't repeated this exact experience on Monk, though I have leveled 2 monks through the early acts and to try out different builds. And I had a monk that was not performing the way I wanted, so I didn't want to just respec it and not know where it was going to go, so I started a new one to see how it would go and got a build I really like. So we're going to use a Frost build because I really think Frost has a much better and easier to manage early game. It does take a little while to get Ice Strike, but when we get it, it feels much better than the Lightning alternative. And the reason for this is that Frost is the Frost freeze is a accumulation of Frost effect. Probably the most dangerous mobs in this whole game right here, especially for a melee character. These little spiny spitters. So if we we don't have to get into the details of how the math is calculated, but if we do 10% of our frost freeze application per hit, then we need to hit them 10 times to freeze them, and it's as simple as that. You just you hit them 10 times and they freeze at least the first time. The mechanics for shock and lightning shock are much more random. So based on how much damage you do in a single hit, you get a percentage chance to shock them, which means you could hit them for 1 HP and shock them if you get lucky, or you could hit them for half their health bar and not shock them at all. And so, in my opinion, shock just doesn't feel very good early. It's just every once in a while some kind of random proc that you can't count on, and so it just doesn't feel like something you can design your leveling process around or design your boss fights around. So it becomes very strong later, when you get to be higher level, Lightning is a way to delete screens for sure. You can go to YouTube, you can see the videos of folks deleting screens. But in the early game, it's not amazing. And there's a couple of reasons it's not amazing. One of them is the shock mechanics I just described. The other one is that um, Falling Thunder is set up to a um, have a power charge consumption mechanic, but we don't really have access to power charges consistently early in the game. The there's we can get a skill called Killing Palm, and many people might think that they want to get Killing Palm so that they can have power charges. The problem is that Killing Palm is this let's call it a situational usage skill where if you if you miss the application, you, it just doesn't work. So here in this fight, you may notice against the boss, I'm not even using my. Oh, he even hit us there. I'm not even using my my Falling Thunder against the boss. It doesn't do more damage single target, and so it doesn't help. So all I'm doing is holding the left mouse button, and then when he swings, I just hit spacebar. I mean, not there. He's staggered. When he faces us, we just press spacebar to dodge right through him. There I dodged twice because he's like turning. Now all these ads, I will use a couple AoEs to get them gone. He hit us there again. Just want to mostly make sure we don't get hit by that slam. Oh, got hit by that. I mean, it's really, you're going to get hit. It's fine. But I think many people complicate this fight a lot by trying to use this slow wind-up skill that then depletes their mana, when really you can just walk up to him and hold auto attack and then dodge roll through him every once in a while, and it becomes much easier. And that model, oh, look at that. I mean, such a strange item to get in this video. We're going to bank that, but I'm not going to, obviously not going to use that. I'll just put it over here for now. Bonuses gained from equipped quiver. I mean, that's like a very weird starting bow. Oh, because we got the bow, we might do one thing that I sometimes like to do. That bow isn't really some sort of crazy overpowered bow. And so we might do something that I have done in the past, which is to use escape arrow. So here we have a few options for our first skill. Killing Palm is what I'm talking about. It generates a power charge if we kill it, but the problem is in order to kill it, we have to wait until it's low enough to kill it. And if we dash to it and it dies before we get there, then it doesn't kill it. We don't get a power charge. So it's kind of in the very early levels, it can feel somewhat good when we aren't killing things too fast. But very quickly, we're killing things fast enough that it's just hard to ever get it off, which means we don't generate power charges, which means our Falling Thunder, which gets really big when we have a power charge, just doesn't feel like it's doing anything. So I didn't particularly care for that. Instead, I prefer to go for a frost-based build, which uses Ice Strike down here, but we're going to have to wait until I think we're level 6 or 7 before we get Ice Strike. So we have to wait until we get Ice Strike, but because we're headed towards Frost, we're gonna end up getting Glacial Cascade. That's going to be a useful part of our build. We're going to get Tempest Bell. We're going to get Staggering Palm. But to start with here, I'm going to get Frost Bomb, which may seem a little bit peculiar. But the reason I like Frost Bomb is because, first of all, the damage is very high for one application. You see it does 21 to 32 cold damage. For reference, our staff is currently doing about 9 damage on average. So this Frost Bomb is doing 3 times as much damage as our staff hit. Now it takes 3 seconds for that to happen, but we don't have to do anything particular during that 3 seconds except wait. So it's basically very high damage per cast time, and it applies exposure, which lowers the enemy's frost resistance. So we're going to use this in our build eventually, so I just pick it up now because it can help us with some things, as you'll see as soon as we get into this next zone. Of course, your mileage may vary, and you may prefer to go Killing Palm and spend a couple levels doing your lightning strikes. That's totally acceptable. And so, I saw one guide uh, that advocated using using a bow and just not even using your quarterstaff, which is to me a bit peculiar, but it's totally fine. Here, I'll just show you. That's how strong Frost Bomb is. So it complements our melee skills a lot because we can reposition, we can melee, um, and it'll just tick away. It allows us to put damage on a ranged target. You know, ranged targets generally don't move very much, so it allows us to put something where a ranged target is, run around and deal with the other guys, and the ranged target will die. So here we go. Like there, that target got almost their entire health deleted by a frost bomb that I didn't have to really focus too much on at all. Now we're taking a lot of damage because this is very early where we're literally wearing nothing. So what I like to do in this first zone is just walk around the zone and use our frost bomb to delete things. Oftentimes you'll cast it and it just won't actually cast. That's probably the same one, yeah. You know, it won't, the enemy will die before it goes off, or you'll miss. That definitely happens. But it's fine. In that case, we got a freeze even. Oh, we got a ring. So I do have auto equip turned on. So that's in settings where my items are automatically equipping. And I find that helps a little bit. Keep in mind that you can dodge roll right out of your abilities. So if I'm in the process of trying to do a big swing and I see that I'm going to get hit by an AoE, we just need to get in the habit of just pressing that space bar, because we can space bar right out of it and avoid the AoE instead of getting hit in the face because we think we're in an animation. And that not only works for animations, it also works for activating things like pulling levers and switches. So that can be an ultra helpful way to avoid dying because a mob comes up. We just hit the space bar and we animation cancel pretty much everything. Now we're gonna just run through this zone a little more, because in this zone somewhere there is usually a camp that has, see, frost bomb win. There's usually a camp in here that, oh, I put that a little bit in the wrong space. Because potions take over time, oftentimes if we get in that situation where something is misjudged and we have to potion, the best thing we can do to complement that is to keep moving away from the mobs. You know, we can't just hit a potion and keep fighting them. We need to give the potion time to tick so that it'll... So yeah, I kited those mobs right into the frost. We're going to get another frost down, kite the guys right into it. And they all just go boom. So this frost, because we need to be mobile, because we are melee, it really helps giving us the ability to put down some damage in a location. And that's the gem that I was looking for. Put down some damage in a location and then move around to manage what we're going to do with it. Now, we have a couple different options. I'm not a big fan of this frozen locust. I've tried it. I don't really care for it, though you absolutely can try it. We are going for frost, and so if you feel that that works into your build and you like it, go for it. We are going to eventually use Glacial Cascade, so I'm just going to get it now. It's not. I wouldn't say Glacial Cascade is particularly useful early, because it's not going to do much damage until we get Wave of Frost, but it can sometimes allow us to just get some range damage on things when we don't want to get so close. So that's why I take Glacial Cascade. Another good option right now, I can't get to the gem cutting interface anymore. Another good option right now would be to take, since we have a bow, we have the luck of having a bow, another good option would be to take escape arrow from the bow tree, and that would automatically, if we took escape arrow with a bow in our offhand, it would automatically switch to the bow to cast escape arrow. And at some point when I get an extra skill gem, I will get escape arrow to demonstrate how that works, just so everyone can see it. But now another benefit of what we're doing here is that our mana stays quite healthy because we're not really using heavy, frequent mana casting. We're mostly casting a frost bomb, coming in and doing maybe one mana based attack, and then we're just kind of finishing with autos. Running out of mana definitely can feel bad in the early game. Kiting into the frost bomb. Now we did not fight the boss in this zone. There's a boss here. We did not try to fight them. There's a mud burrow. We did not try to go to the mud burrow. We're just kind of cruising around to get that skill gem, get some experience points, get a passive point, and then head on to Grellwood. And I think this is a common theme in making this, this feel a little bit easier, is to not think you have to go and engage a boss right away. The most important thing we need to do is we need to set up our waypoints so we can quickly get to the things we want to get to when we're ready to do them. That's our number one goal as we move through zones. Now, in fact, I've moved through that first zone in a much more direct fashion where I just get luckier and I find the camp that has the skill gem earlier, and I just beeline right for the exit, and that's just the end of it. So that can also happen if you're lucky. Ooh, the poison really hurts. So we're gonna give our potion a moment to tick here. Gonna precast the frost zone right here and get them dead. Until we have some energy shield, definitely it can feel like the damage coming in is pretty high. Once we get some energy shield, it will help buffer that damage quite a bit. And I totally failed the frost zone, but when in doubt, just auto attack and dodge roll. During a dodge roll, you are in an invulnerability frame. You can't be hit for just a moment in the dodge roll. So if you use the dodge roll well, you can avoid quite a bit of damage. And also the hit boxes are very precise. So if you dodge out of the way and you're not where the enemy is swinging, then they're not hitting you. Now, as a melee character, standing still against ranged mobs is kind of our nemesis because they will just take their time and nail us from range, and before you know it, you're getting hit by 7 projectiles. So definitely staying moving is a good strategy.
I like to hold on to bits and pieces.
This is the same as what we have. We can try to just craft this. Whoops, wrong one. Oh, 1 to 13 lightning damage. I'll take it. And we have another one. We might as well put it on there. 7% attack speed. Look at that. We're already totally kitted out. I mean, is that going to be good? Maybe that would be good. We can always find out. Some more charges on our mana flask. Won't say no to that. And then the rest of this will just sell. And then we need to hit the well. And we're good. Now, in these zones, our first goal is to do a perimeter walk and find all the waypoints out of the zone, the doors, and to get the waypoints on the other side of the doors or the near side of the doors to make it easy to travel around. Our goal is not to finish the entire zone, and you'll see how that works as I progress through this. But right here, there's 2 paths. If you would like a little more survivability, you can take this survivability path with evasion. I mean, if you're playing a monk, evasion. evasion, and energy shield to get you up here. It's a good path. It has advantages. I'm going to take the damage and skill speed because I personally just find it the the character plays a little more fluidly when you can get your attacks off a little faster. I mean, of course, you can dodge roll out of an attack, but then you didn't do any damage. So when we can get our attack to happen faster, it just makes the fights take less time. So that's what I'm going to optimize for. And I find that just a couple pieces of gear that have energy shield on it is good enough for what we need. I'm going to precast this frost shield over here so that he's going to get hit by it.
Feel the shock.
Now that extra damage we just got on our staff is really noticeable because our damage is so low that it's almost doubled our damage, effective damage. Here we have 7 to 12 base and 1 to 13 bonus. So pretty much that's double the damage of what we just had a moment ago. And yeah, maybe that was a little bit of luck with the crafting. Certainly you can do that craft and not get anything on it, absolutely. Maybe I should have thrown that staff away so we would be playing like in the worst possible conditions. But I don't. This isn't any rare staff. So here we see the door to the Red Veil. We come through. We get the waypoint. We go right back. That waypoint is just our easy way to get to the Red Veil when we're ready. So we don't have to go walk around and explore this zone again. And that's a common pattern through all these PoE zones. We're gonna explore a zone, find all the exit points, try to get a waypoint that gives us access to the exit points. Because they added in the patch that they added fast travel between checkpoints, but that doesn't help you if you log off because you got to have dinner and then you come back and the instance is gone and now it's a new randomly generated instance where you have to go find the doors. So if we get those waypoints, we're absolutely golden. It doesn't matter if the instance that we're in gets retired. So that is always going to be our goal. I absolutely should have thrown away this staff and fought all these guys with the base staff, because now everyone's going to say, well, you just got lucky with that extra damage staff, because this feels really good, I got to be honest. If I find another base staff, I'll put it on. So what I'm doing here with my path is I'm just going around the exterior. Still, most of the damage that we're doing here is being done by the frost bomb, so I don't think it's too unreasonable, but we definitely do have more damage than with the base staff. And some people do get really unlucky with the rolls, which is another reason we're doing this frost bomb, because it gets us the ability to... Well, that was a shock. Which is pretty uncommon, but will happen with lightning damage. So here, I'm actually just going to do very little except cast Frost Bomb. These guys make a lot of poison on the ground, and we don't really need to be near that. So one way to get a little bit of early damage is what I did here, where I got lucky with using one of my magic orbs. Another way to get early damage is to... Oh, yeah, good. See, I was intentionally dodge rolling into them to try to keep them on the frost bomb. Another way to get early damage is to spend a little money at the vendor and buy something that the vendor's selling. And yet another way is to get lucky with drops.
Savor the feeling. Keep moving forward.
So in this zone, we have four things we're trying to do. We need the exit to the Red Veil, which we already got. We need the den to the Grim Tangle. We need the waypoint right here, which we got lucky. It was right at the star point. And 1, 2, waypoint, Red Veil, Grim Tangle, and if we feel ambitious, this witch boss or the main boss. The main boss has more value. The witch boss just gives us some potions and some experience, and maybe I think a skill gem too. Now I think I can take her out right now, but if I had the regular staff, I would not want to fight her right now. I've tried, and you can do it. It just takes too long, and the longer the fight takes, the more likely you run out of potions, and you might not even die. If this is hardcore and you run out of potions, you can just kite away. That was a little bit unexpected. So I'm gonna put the frost bomb down and then try to stop him in it. Against ranged enemies, one of the best things you can do, and it definitely takes a little time to get used to, but one of the best things you can do is dodge roll during when their projectiles are coming in, because you can dodge roll right through their projectiles. Think of it like you're diving under them. You can dive under their projectiles or to the side, but even if you dive straight through them, they won't hit you if you're dodge rolling. So here we came in the Grim Tangle, we got the waypoint, we immediately go right back out. That's all we're doing. We're just trying to make it so we can fast travel to that spot. I have another point. I'm going to take my additional fat 10% damage. And now we're uncovering the rest of this to get closer to where we know where the boss is. Now, we could, if we wanted to, we could actually leave right now and go to the Red Veil. Because we don't have to do this boss. In fact, I think we'll do that. Let's see what we got. Is there any reason to be here anymore? Not really. We'll go to the Red Veil immediately. So the game will get easier if we take it in terms of the things that are easier. You know, start with things that are easier and move to things that are harder. And with low damage, the witch is harder. I like the energy shield on this chest, so I'm going to keep the energy shield on this piece over getting evasion rating. This is not ours. This is not ours. Okay, that's all we needed. It would be nice to have the best thing we could buy here if we're going to buy something is is some kind of health potion. Generally, you don't need to, and you're going to get drops to get one. And I would, if this was a brand new character, unless you're in hardcore, I probably would save it. If you're in hardcore right now, what I would do is I would buy this potion right here, increased charges, increased amount recovered, because it just is going to give us a little bit more room to maneuver in those fights. But we don't need it. Oops, and that was a mistake. That's not what I meant to do. Now that we have our waypoints, here's our Grellwood. We're going to go right to the Red Veil. Now, this is going to do two things. it's going to get us some more experience and a chance to get better drops. There's, oh, that might be better. Also, you'd be surprised how much damage you can mitigate just by stepping to the side. So, this is a pretty typical drop. I would say that what we're using is marginally better. The average on this one, 9 to 18. If you take the middle of those two is, what, like 14? Ours is currently slightly higher than that. You know, somewhere around 18. Plus, it has a 7% attack speed. Plus, the lightning damage gives it a chance to shock. But I said I was going to get rid of it, so we're going to get rid of it and go to what is a very common drop in this zone, just a white staff with slightly higher damage. And also on top of it, this staff has slightly higher range, which, you know, it actually is kind of nice that your auto attacks do AoE, you know, kind of cleave or whatever you want to think of it as. And so it actually can be helpful. Now we're going to frost bomb those dudes and mostly focus on staying so we don't get hit by their projectiles. And then we have some kind of, yeah, we have a blue magic mob coming in now. As soon as I saw the blue mob, I just started kiting back in the direction that I came from. So I'm not moving into a place where there are enemies that can kill me. All I did is walk away. I used the expert amazing strategy of just walking away. Okay, I prefer the energy shield on our helm. And this can give us some mana. And we're not very mana hungry, so I'm just going to equip it right now. Normally, you'd want to be careful about this because when you equip it in the field, you go to 0 charges. Make it a habit never to equip a health potion in the field because you can very quickly get to a point where you have no health potion, so you immediately have to go back to a well. So you might as well just wait until you're at the well anyway. If you want to do it right now, you can say, oh, let's use that bigger health potion. Now, but because I don't use much mana, like that's not a thing I'm running out of, I just equip it and it's going to get charges while we're just killing things over here. So in just a short time, we'll have some mana charges. So one of the earlier things we'll do to make this frost bomb assisted melee even better is to get some range on our frost bomb, because you'd be surprised how much better it can be if we just have a little bit of range. That's a lot of projectiles. So mostly another thing that we can do that's very effective is to move obliquely. When they're shooting at you, instead of moving away where they're still going to hit you, just move to the side so that at least some number of the projectiles will just go wide. If you just run directly away, it's a good way to get still hit by everything. So here we have our obelisk of rust, and I'm moving around the outside of it to make sure we have a good healthy region outside of it, so that if we somehow get in trouble, we have a place to run where there aren't a bunch of enemies. And then we're just gonna get our frost bombs. Ooh. Now there's a lot of projectiles here, so keep moving as much as you can. I'll even get some glacial cascade going here, just to get some more damage on these guys. Some people may like the very engaging gameplay of killing Palm and causing falling thunder to create those nice giant lightning arcs. It certainly can be fun. I personally found the falling thunder lightning arcs to be really fun, but trying to get killing palm procs off to be miserable, and mostly just not worth my time. Oh, that was not friendly. Even though right now we're doing quite a bit of kiting back. It won't be long before they're afraid of us instead of us afraid of them. So right now we're somewhat using our strategy of trying to circle the zone. Oh. Take the potion. Snipe a low health enemy. Now our health potion is out. So in the early game, this definitely will happen once or twice where our health potion is completely out and we'll just come in and we'll hit the well. Might as well empty our bags.
Sorry,
If this
I
was a
like to hold
brand new
on.
character,
I like this one.
we would. If this is a brand new character, we would definitely want to sell everything, make sure we're getting as much money as possible. And these sockets are really valuable. So after this bench opens up, we want to salvage that socket to get a shard to make sockets. This is a first solo self-found character I've done, so my stash is empty. So I'll just stash that for later.
There's the obelisk.
I personally prefer to play solo self-found in PoE and games like this, but I normally do my solo self-found in the trade league because I like to play with my friends. So it's, I guess you could say it's like friend found. My friends share gear. I have actually never traded an item on PoE. I play either. My friends don't play PoE1, so I either play solo self-found or I play solo self-found hardcore. But in PoE2, I've only been playing on Trade League so that I can help my former Diablo-loving friends come over to the light. And PoE2 truly is the light. I mean, even just lowering the respec cost. I was a big advocate on the forums, even after launch, that they should lower them more because they were still too expensive. And I'm very glad that they not only made them cheaper, but they made them less exponential, meaning that they don't increase as much as the levels increase, so that when you get to later game, you still can actually respec your character instead of running out of cash trying to do it. I think it's in a really healthy place right now. It's, affordably priced, but it's not zero cost, so you can, if you're respecing like, giant trees all the time, you definitely can run out of cash to keep doing it. But you can respec your whole tree pretty healthily with the cash you can get without too much time spent, which is where it should be. I think PoE1 would be a dramatically better game if it had that kind of respec cost. I mean, King's March introduced gold respecs to PoE1, but the gold respecs in PoE1 are so expensive that my, I don't know what it is, level 80 character could only afford to respec 8 points. I mean, that's not counting the regret orbs, but in gold, I could only afford 8 points because all my gold has gone into King's March. So I'm sure at some point you have enough gold that that's not as big a problem, but I still just think it's way too expensive. But, and the reason, people talk about what respec costs should be, and there should be costs to having a spec. The reason I advocate for much lower respec costs is that I would rather learn the game and adjust my build and experiment inside of this wonderful 3D client than inside of a 2D spreadsheet app like Path of Building. I mean, if you don't have cheap respecs, then the way that you handle respecs is to use a tool like Path of Building, or to use your own, mental theory crafting, because Path of Building doesn't exist for PoE2, so we're all theory crafting builds. But if you can respec, you can kind of just try it and go hit something, and if it feels good, it's good, and if it doesn't feel good, you just put it back. And by the way, that's the other reason that respec costs need to be much cheaper. People who've played PoE1 for years are conditioned into this high respec cost, but your average gamer who spends 12 to 20 hours on the early phases of a character in this game or any game. Oh, look at that. We're gonna do a load and collect all that. the average character who spends 12 to 20 hours in the early game, and then gets to a place where things are a little awkward and not working out, they they're not going to re-roll a new character. They're just going to quit. So um, you can't give them the answer that the way to solve their build problems
I like this one.
is to re-roll a new character because they bricked this one. You just can't. They will leave the game. And so if you want a game that has
The obelisk.
a fraction of the player base like POE1, Diablo. Diablo is obviously a big franchise from a big giant company that's been around for a long time, so it has many advantages. But Diablo made $700 million in 2023, and Diablo Immortal made another $700 million in 2023. And Path of Exile 1, with its 200,000 player base, made 80 million. So that is what happens when you make the game oppressively hard for new players. And ironically, I don't actually think that PoE1's high respec cost really affects veterans much at all, because they actually know what build they're using, either from a planner or from their own planning. And so they don't need 7 respecs. It's only the new players, and the new players are the ones that, look, we all want them in the game. It just makes the community more fun when there's more players in the game. Like, there's no world where we want our game we love to have like 5 players in it with us. We want all the players. So this is why the respec costs need to be much cheaper. Frankly, I think if things stay as they are right now between the two games, I would never play PoE1 again simply because of respec costs. But if they lower the respec costs in PoE1, I would be inclined to also play it, because it is really the... I mean, I like PoE1. I've played quite a bit, but I don't like following a build guide like a monkey. I would prefer to just experiment, even if it's not as efficient, because I like playing the game, not eliminating the playing of the game by watching someone else play the game. So I would prefer PoE1 if I could just fumble around and figure out my own specs, which I do. It's just that I do it with Path of Building, which is annoying. And if I make a mistake, it just doesn't work out the way I thought it would, then the character feels like it's bricked, which is not a good feeling, even when it doesn't take as long. So we got... The most dangerous part of this is all the guys shooting projectiles at us, so in an ideal world, we just don't get hit by too many projectiles. We do fortunately have some energy shield. Just like before, we are trying to clear the area immediately around this obelisk so we can have a place to run if there's a lot of enemies. Oh, I pulled him. Oh no, I pulled him just perfect. I thought I pulled him too far. Clearing around the obelisk. Oh, there's a... Yeah, that would have been a very unfriendly thing to run into while we were trying to do the other thing, the obelisk. And he also gave us our blast charges, so we're good. Now remember, these guys are doing a lot of projectiles, so we're just going to keep moving around in a circle. Oh. We don't even have to auto them if we don't want to. We can just use this wonderful frost bomb and just walk around in circles to keep their... I mean, this is, this is playing... We're gaming. Just put the frost bomb down and just run around in circles. There's no difficult mechanics here. We're not experts of dodge roll precision. We're just playing the mechanics of the game. But I hope you see right there why, again, that frost... where's the last one? I guess it's up there. That frost bomb helps us put damage down without having to stand in one place and get obliterated, which is why I like it. And this will be the boss, so we need to be extra careful about getting these guys that are around gone. So yeah, hit and dodge roll just to the side to get those guys not to be hitting me. This fight can move around quite a bit, so I'm gonna be ultra safe and get way over there. Because this video will be more fun if it's a no death video, but I'm not gonna do it 5 times. We die. We die. In this case, I'm being ultra conservative because this guy really likes to turn very fast. And so, mostly I need to just get the frost bomb down. Because he's just going to stand there the whole time. Make sure you don't get hit by that spear. But, you know, look, it's not... this isn't like fast, crazy action. I just literally moved a little bit. A lot of this is just learning what his abilities look like so you know which one's coming. He's stunned. Now we can just stand here and hit him a lot. The frost bomb down. He's going to spawn his buddies. And we're going to... Whenever we're not in melee range of this guy, I like to keep moving in circles so that those kinds of attacks he does don't become a problem. Unless he's doing the circular clock thing. When he get in the clock. Oh, he hit me. Got stunned. Take our time to get some damage on this guy. He's almost dead. Don't get too antsy because when people get too excited at the end, that's also where I see people die. They're like, oh, he's almost dead. I'm just going to ignore all his mechanics and just keep hitting him, and then you're dead. So great. We got the quest done. We're supposed to travel to the encampment. We can look and see. That's a tough call. I think I like the 25 armor and 16 energy shield better. If we really want to try to optimize a bit, we can carry more of the stuff. This character is solo self-found with no cash, so actually it's a pretty good test because I can actually treat this like I'm you and starting from scratch. So we're going to sell this.
Another for my collection. Thank you.
These things are... I'm gonna save those for a bit so that we can show how crafting is gonna work. A little later, not right this moment. We're gonna put the new potion in. That's gonna get sold. We need our skill gem. That's quest item, quest item. This is again gonna get sharded by the shard dude when we have it, and this is gonna get sold. Okay.
Hello. These are just
Sell. Those are quest items. Now we can get another skill here. We have Glacial Cascade. We could update our Falling Thunder to level 3, but I'm saying we're going to get rid of it, so I don't love that. There's 2 options here. Tempest Bell, better for bosses. Staggering Palm, also good and gives us mobility, but I got to go for the Bell. You know, most monks are going to be bell abusers. There are some players who like to use other tools, but most monks, the bell is our go-to. And again, I'm doing that because we need the cash. So I just grabbed those 2 blues.
Yes,
Portals are free.
fun of my collection.
Sell that.
Beautiful.
Let's see what
I
that is.
accept.
6 energy shield, 12 armor, 9 energy shield, cold resist. It's a toss-up. I'll just take the cash.
Safe.
You get slightly more cash for selling items that have been revealed also. So there's no harm in revealing an item and then deciding you don't want it because you actually get more money. In fact, it is kind of better to just reveal them always, because you should have enough.
What happened
You
here?
should have enough.
I see. Then find more runes.
Oops, did I not get enough runes? What happened? Oh, I know. I remember. I'm on a different part of the quest. Doing this a bunch of times confuses me. Okay, this is the part where we get the spikes from Renly first. Then we take them in. And we spike the tree. That is the wrong portal. Wow. Grellwood. There we go. Now we're in the right state. We have the spikes.
If you can.
We spike the tree.
Good. Now the others.
Time to discover what truly happened.
If you haven't watched the cinematic that was in the launch reveal on YouTube, you should watch it because it has a cinematic about how this guy got put in the tree. I didn't see it in the beginning of the game, and so I don't know if they didn't put it in the game or I just am too aggressively clicking to let it happen. But definitely, the cinematic's pretty cool, and I hope that they have a few more cinematics in the actual launch. I mean, if I was GGG and I was doing this game, I would not release all the cinematics in the early access. I would wait until.
I heard you had. Here's what I got.
I'd wait until it was the real launch to get people all excited about the cinematics. Now, Renly has items that we can, get. So if you didn't get any items out there, like there's nothing that dropped, you didn't even get this item, you can buy something here's something with attack speed that's cheap. Here's the same item I have, 5 life per enemy killed. I mean, that's arguably slightly better than what I have. And so that could be a take. And we also want to look for movement speed boots. We are on the lookout for movement speed boots. Movement speed is so OP for boss fights that if we get movement speed, we will drop every other stat in our boots to keep the movement speed. It is just that good. So, and also, by the way, that's quality 15 on an item that's pretty cheap. So I'm going to buy it to shard it for the quality shard, and we'll talk about that a little later. But right here, what I'm looking through is just, can we get some upgrades? We have a 19 energy shield helmet with nothing, and I can get this one for most of my bank balance. Doesn't seem worth it. We'll just save it. That one actually seems better, cheaper, and we still get the we get 6 dexterity. Is there any? That one's even cheaper. That one's like better, but that's a body armor. Is that what we want? No, we don't need that at all. I mean, armor versus evasion. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, I'm just looking to see. I mean, these boots would be a very nice upgrade, even though they do not have movement speed. But because they don't have movement speed, I'm not going to bother. It's just not worth it. So this item, we're still waiting for the quest that opens the salvage bench to be able to salvage these things. These shards, artificer shards that put sockets on our gear, are very valuable. And also the shards that make the quality plus on items is valuable. So we're going to shard those into those shards when we can. And for now, I'm just going to leave them there. And we have we talked to the tree. The hooded one is hanging out. Yuna's taking care of him. My friend was very confused because he thought that this was Yuna and she lost her quest arrow. But in fact, Yuna moved over here, and I don't know why they did that. But anyway, so Yuna's now hanging out with him. He'll eventually be woken up, and we're going to go to the Grim Tangle. Now, we already got that waypoint the first time through, so we just port right to it. Boom. Fast as can be.
If the face
Sing your song. We're going to take our big notable node.
the old magic still thrive.
Now, for some folks, these close quarters can be a learning experience in the game. And so this is another case where if we do a good job with our placing of our frost zones and staying out of their poison, we can make it substantially easier. many of these zones, especially when our gear level is low, the trash can be harder than the bosses. So there, I just body block them, intentionally body block them. If there's 7 mobs, if there's 100 mobs, and there's a choke like that, you can only get hit by 2 of them. So you can just body block them all in the door, and
I cannot.
so again, I'm not doing anything particularly intense. I'm just sort of standing back and giving them a chance to walk into my stick of death. Don't stand in the poison. Mostly in this game, you got to be quick on the potion finger. And a little patient in the beginning. Eventually, we will not need to be patient at all. But I think that's part of why the power fantasy in this game feels relatively good, at least to those of us who like it, because we earn. There's a critique recently I watched that talks about the failing of recent modern Marvel movies and the attempt to translate the classical Marvel hero stories, which were mostly male heroes, not all, but mostly male heroes, into female versions of the same heroes. And people have commented that one of the failings in this writing is not that the heroes, that there's female versions of the heroes, but that the female versions of the heroes have backstories that did not give them the opportunity to earn their situation, to earn their power, to earn their respect, to earn what the original heroes earned. So they just end up feeling like they're just handed this thing in the story, and that it's really like a story writer failure that it feels like this. And I think in some ways games these days have made the same mistake. Not the gender mistake, the mistake of, I mean, it's great for us to have more gender participation and everything, but to make the mistake of not having players earn it. We're earning it in this game, and the struggle and the earning is part of what gives us a sense of accomplishment in life. If you were handed the silver spoon to everything, it wouldn't feel like you'd earned it because you hadn't. So, I mean, I don't know. That's something that I really enjoy about this game. Okay, we have 35 energy shields, so that's good. This guy's not really worth much. Not even going to carry it around. And this one. Oh, we got some movement speed. Sweet. Now that one has a socket in it, so we're going to keep that to shard it. And yeah, we'll just keep the energy shield for now. Oops. Even that small amount of movement speed feels so good. So just always be on the lookout. Give it all up for some movement speed. 10% is enough. 15% is better. quite a few enemies. Mostly we need to make sure we don't get caught by the enemies and poison at the same time. As long as that doesn't happen, we're good. Enemies, okay. Poison, okay. Poison and enemies, not okay. So we're just doing our random walk. I think, yep, that is the exit. Oh, so we found the exit before we found the boss. So again, with all these zones, when we find an exit, what do? We go through and we try to get the waypoint. I mean, we don't even need to do that, but we get the waypoint. We don't need to be here yet. We could, if we wanted to push it, we could do it, but we don't need to be there yet. What we're looking for, we have this zone open. This zone, if we leave this zone, it'll time out in 10 minutes, and we've uncovered a bunch of it. And the boss in this zone does not have a waypoint, so our goal is to minimize our random travel time around the map. I mean, the rest of it we can't control, but this we can control. So we just want to make sure that we don't spend forever walking around the map, not actually getting something done. So the frost bomb is really helpful in this fight as well, because he does a whole lot of things where he's throwing shit at us, throwing stuff at us, and I can just keep walking and putting a frost bomb on him if he's doing an ability that does not allow me to stay on him. See, like right here, he's doing his ability. And I can frost bomb him, and pretty soon he's going to stagger. Let's stagger him. Put another frost bomb. These things, we just keep running around. The tangles. That is the most dangerous one. You cannot be standing still for that. This thing teleports you, so you want to get to the edge of it, because if you're in the middle of it, it'll put you right in the middle of all that damage and you will die. The boulder, it's going to slam. Tangles come out. Throw a... I think I caught him with that. Yep, I did. Now, oh, I forgot we have the bell. Oh, and I died. I got too distracted by looking at the bell. The problem with the bell in this fight, and maybe if I did this again with full knowledge, I would take Shattering Palm first instead of the bell for this boss specifically, because Shattering Palm would allow us to dash onto him to get some more damage in. The bell, in order to get it, we should have used it when he was staggered. In order to use the bell, we need to get our 4 charges. There we go. We got our 4 charges. Staggered him. Get out of the... If you at least get to the edge, you don't get tossed in the middle. And while we're walking around the outside here, it doesn't hurt to let our energy shield recharge. Oh! I should not have stopped. I said that we were going to die. I did not expect to die 3 times on this boss, but this is one of the harder bosses, I will admit. I would say the 2 hardest bosses in Act 1 are this boss and the husband in the cemetery. I know most people will think that the end of Act 1 boss is the hardest, but it is definitely not. Because by the time we get there, we will have Ice Strike and we will freeze him, and he will sit there frozen for a good amount of the fight. We'll have much better kit. Right now, we don't have a lot, and we just want to take this guy down anyway. And if I had simply made a few less mistakes... Oh, see, like, we have to be careful about where we get thrown. Let him do that. See, like right there, we would normally Staggering Palm dash to him. So maybe in another version of this, I would take Staggering Palm first. But if we can just get the bell on him once. Well, he doesn't do that. There we go. Now, the bell mechanics, the bell reflects damage that you hit the bell with. And so the magic of the bell is not just to hit the bell, because then you'd just be taking the damage and hitting the bell instead of the boss. The magic of the bell is to position the bell such that your swing hits the bell and the boss at the same time, because then you're doing one swing and getting 2x damage. And on top of it, we can... I hope you're seeing the value of the frost strike. Whoa.
Feel the shock.
Almost done. Gotta not get hit by the boulder. Don't get killed by that thing. There we go. Now Glacial Strike. At the end of Glacial Strike, there's this big spike, which does not only substantially more damage, but also has bonus to frost. So just keep in mind that when you're hitting people with Glacial Strike, this part of it is pretty weak sauce. That spike at the end hits kind of hard. And so we hit him with the section on the end. And it's very unlikely that this is going to be better, but it is. So we'll take that. And I don't know why. We have another set of movement speed boots. If only we had a friend. In this game, I mean. So that's it. So now we already have the waypoint to the next zone. So we can get out of here. That's all we need to do in here. We can sell our stuff.
I've collected these over time. Another for my collection. Thank you. Stay
We
safe.
can bank.
If you can.
Oops, maybe we'll use that. We can put this into our locker. And I don't know what we're going to do with those. And then we can do a support gem. There's a few different options, but probably the best thing to get right now is either martial tempo, if you feel like you're doing a lot of good auto attacking, or if you're spamming glacial cascade because that's what you really like to do, then extra cold damage is pretty good. Or concentrated effect can also be good. It will just do more damage when it hits them with that spike if you aim it correctly. You can also get a damage bonus for the bell itself. There's a few different options. You can get more area to hit more enemies, or what I prefer to get on the bell is supported skills gain 3 rage on melee hit. So you can basically get it to buff up your damage with rage. So really right now, probably rage, attack damage per 1 rage is good. It basically scales our rage up. Or martial tempo are the go-tos. And I'm gonna go for. We're gonna get them all. So it's not really that. It's not that essential one way or the other. But we're gonna get martial tempo. So now our free manaless attacks have more attack speed. And look, we already can't. Oh, that's the wrong weapon type. It's saying our free manaless spells are already doing more attacks. Now, what do we got here? Cemetery of Eternals. Before we go on to the next part of the zone, we still have a bunch of cleanup that we skipped in the beginning. And so now is a good time. Now that we have a few items under our belt, now is a good time to go back and get some of the things that we skipped. So we can go to Clearfell. This waypoint is always right next to the mud burrow, so it's very quick to come here. We need to decide how we're going to spend our points. I've seen various approaches to spending these next points. One approach is to try to go across here, so you get in just 1, 2, 3, 4 points, you're going to get evasion rating, energy shield, movement speed, mana regen, dexterity, intelligence. So that's pretty good um, as a start. It doesn't take us anywhere, but it's pretty good for the points early, and we can respec it if we want. Another option is to go for increased skill speed and mana regen here, because more skill speed just feels better. And yet another option is to go for crit hunting. We do crit. We have some crit in our weapon. It's not going to happen often, but if it happens within 8 seconds, we get 30% increased damage if you dealt a crit in the past 8 seconds. Personally, I like this, so I'm going for the crit proc.
A foul lair for a foul creature. Lightning!
So already, compared to when we first walked by the mud burrow, we're pretty strong. These enemies. It says monster level 3 right here, and we're substantially beyond monster level 3, and so we don't have to worry too much about these guys. They're not going to hurt us that much, especially because we have some gear and we have some levels. We're just gonna finally get to feel like we're a little stronger than the enemies around us, and we're just looking for the mini boss in this area. So you didn't even do all of our energy shield damage. And I'm picking up all this random small junk loot because on a new character, this is what you'd be doing, and this is a new character for me on Solo Self-Found, so this is what I'm doing to generate some income. Oh, checkpoint? Usually a checkpoint means the boss room is close, so I'm assuming it's here. Yeah, looks like it's here.
What twisted nightmare! Not yet.
So if we can get, see if we can get a bell off. There we go. Oh, we just barely missed the stagger the first time, and now we don't have a bell. That was sad. If we had staggered him, we could have had the bell down right there. Staggering him, probably would have died. There we go. So that's the difference between coming in here when we're level 2 and just coming back a little while later and making the fight easy. And it didn't take us some crazy amount of time or some crazy amount of gear to do that. We just strategically decided not to fight him because we weren't ready. Let's see what we got here. Pretty much the same. We'll just bank it or whatnot. Don't need that. Our smaller energy shield, bigger armor. We can see sometimes an item like this can be pretty advantageous, but in this case, I don't particularly like equipping off-roll stats early in the game because it can create odd problems where we overlevel things that are not in our primary stat, and then we end up oddly stuck trying to get rid of it. This item might be worth, but we're not going to use it. We're just going to move on. And this right here, we can definitely look into getting our... Oh, we can't get our staggering poem because it's a level 2. Yeah, we can upgrade our frost bomb to level 2. When in doubt, upgrade the thing you're using the most. Support gem. So we kind of get to choose how we're going to go here. I think I want to get magnified effect to get bigger AoE, and this can be used on any of our stuff. We can use it on our Tempest spell. We can use it on whatever, just because it'll make it easier to land that frost bomb in situations where I'm trying to land it. And then we still have the boss, the frost boss that we left here. So now we can. Usually she's in the north.
Lightning!
So coming back and doing this in this way also has the additional advantage that. Wow, she tried to AoE herself. Also has the additional advantage that now we're powerful, relatively speaking, and so we can walk through this zone and kind of just easily dispatch these guys. And when we do so, we can maybe collect a little bit more loot. So here we're going to have the... Oh. All right, we get the bell down, and easy work. Now, if we had done that when we first walked through here, that would have been quite the arduous fight, but because we did not, it was quite easy. And if it seems like this is cheating, it's because it feels like it's cheating, except all we did is strategize a little bit. So all the bosses give us something. She gives us cold resist, so we activate the cold resist. If we really want to maximize the money, I'll show you. We'll just bank these I kind of want to identify that. It could be better. We'll bank these revealed things because we can when we get the shadow the hooded figure opened up, he can do it for free, and then we can just identify all those guys for free and get a little bit extra gold. I mean, if you're on a brand new account, we're optimizing everything. So we're here again in Growwood because the last time we were here, we did not kill the boss because we didn't really get lucky enough to get enough good stuff to kill him. So now we're here to just do a little bit of loot. I usually find that he's in the south of the zone, and that usually the witch is in the north of the zone. And so we can look for both of those things. And then we will be done with this zone. Now we can see we're really, compared to when we were here before, we're taking these guys to town. And the little, the little attacks they're doing so far are not even getting through our energy shield. So it took all of however long this is in the video to get to a point where we don't feel like we have to run and hide and kite everything away. Just a few minutes. And oops. Now, because we're above level on these guys and our damage is a bit higher, we can much more easily proc shock on them. So at this point, shock feels good, but if we stick with shock, in my opinion, it doesn't feel good like this until we get a guaranteed source of power charges that's not, based on a situation, and I don't really want to do that. So, all right, we have the checkpoint, we have the witch. We're gonna just... Oops. One of the semi-annoying things about her is that she moves so much, so it's... There we go. Literally just throw the bell down and auto-attack her, and she's dead, and wasn't much of a threat to us. Don't forget to open the cauldron. Okay, we're looking for the boss still. He has a somewhat horseshoe-like ring, but it has an exit on both sides. So you can look at these islands and you can see that he's not in any of these places. Now we're really getting her done. Also, these little loops back through where we kind of go through once and then come back, they allow us to really kind of rack up a little bit of extra, uh, more efficient experience because we're killing these things so much faster now.
I carry few possessions. I don't have room for that.
I don't think it's going to be down here, but
Feel the shock!
one of the not great feelings is when you get all the way to the other side of the map and then you look and you say, oh, well, wait, it could be there. And you have to, if there's not a checkpoint nearby, you have to walk all the way back over there. So that's that martial tempo kicking in also, where we have additional attack speed. I'm guessing it's going to be right here. This is my bet. We'll see. That's going to be a door that we don't need because we already have it. Oh, no, it's not the door. Body blocked. Of course, as with Murphy's Law, the boss is going to turn out to be in the last place we uncover, as will happen from time to time in Path of Exile 2, or any system with random map level generation. But when this occurs, we can just be happy that we got all this extra XP, and I think that is it. Yeah, there's the boss right here. All right. Now, there's the boss realm, but we need to... Ideally, we'd like to get the checkpoint first. I mean, of course, we're not going to die, but should we happen to make a mistake and die, it would be nice if we... So I'm just auto-attacking while literally spamming my bell key. I'm just tapping my bell key during that whole time. So in general, with every one of these bosses, the moral of the story is stay moving unless you know you can. You don't have to. So right there, I know this guy has a bunch of abilities, so all I want to do is walk in, stagger him as fast as I can, and then as soon as he comes out of stagger, we try to start moving so we don't get killed by the things like in the previous boss,
Yes.
which was
Please.
quite annoying.
Take your time.
Okay, these are still
Another
low-level
for my
potions, so
collection.
we don't
Thank
really
you.
care about them. I mean, any of these are fine. I feel like I'm gonna go for that.
Another
This
for
is
my
our final
collection.
stat, evasion rating,
Thank you.
energy shield. Don't need that. Don't need. Well, actually, I'm not saying we need it, but we can put it there with our bow. We never know. Maybe we'll use that.
Another for my collection. Thank you.
And those guys we can get more cash out of if we identify them first. Unfortunately, we still didn't get a level 3 gem to cut. So we have some support gems, but the support gems are super powerful. So we can get some power, more power. Just, why not? Hits with supported skill costs 50% more stun buildup. That's really good. We want to stun things. And let's see. So, that's mostly for the boss. And then, somewhere here we're going to need cold infusion, extra cold damage. So that would be pretty good. But also the rage generation. What did we get here? We got attack speed and stun buildup. So I'm going to get the rage generation because, oh, strength required. We'll get that soon enough. We'll get the cold. We'll put it on the bell. Cold. Extra damage as cold. Great. So now whenever we drop the bell, whatever the bell's doing, we're just gonna get even more damage as cold, and eventually we'll use that on our other stuff. So our do we have anything we can move to level 2 that matters? We have that level 2. I would say we might as well do this. Yeah, there really isn't anything else we're going to ever use that for. Okay, great. Notice I'm not bothering to upgrade this Falling Thunder because it's fine already for doing garbage trash mobs, and we're literally going to take it off the bar in just a few levels. But if you want to, because that's, one of the things we're nuking with, by all means, upgrade it. Every path works. They all just work a little differently. Those guys hurt right here. These guys that carry around the gravestones. So those are definitely enemies to watch out for. Now, I'm going to again use our strategy here. We're going to get the waypoint and we're going to go right back out. Now, we could go through there, but if you're new or you're struggling or you get to a place where you try that boss a few times and then you have family obligations that pull you away, then this zone is now again uncovered and you don't know where anything is. So what I like to do is uncover the zone. So we have to get there's 2 spots here. The his and hers cemeteries. His and hers mausoleums. All right, we found the other one. That was quick. So now we go in here. Now we have the 2 waypoints. So now if we need to go have lunch, dinner, come back tomorrow, we can immediately teleport into either one of these cemeteries as many times as we need to get it done. Hopefully, we only need one time, but that's kind of thinking about traversing the world can save an incredible amount of time. We'd rather be spending our time either working on gear or trying bosses or doing something that has a chance of helping us rather than just sort of wandering around a map trying to find a door. I mean, granted, if you're wandering around a map trying to find a door, at least you're probably having to deal with enemies and also get a experience, but oh, that's not that's so deceptive. It looks like a little stair. So what I did there is a pretty effective strategy with Frost Bomb, which is just cast it early and maneuver. I really want this lady done. The witch, the ghost, whatever we're going to call her. So that I can deal with this guy in his own. Now this is where a staggering bomb would come in handy, but we don't have it. We could stagger him right there. The nice thing about having staggering palm, which we will have soon, but not right now. I was looking to see if that was perhaps going to be a gem we could use to cut it. But the nice thing about having staggering palm when we can get it is that it will, when we staggering palm someone, it will armor break them, so they'll have no more armor anymore. Now, by this time, hopefully, we've had enough experience, if you're playing Monk, to figure out the timing with the Frost Nova, so we can really get some good, or Frost Bomb, we can really get some good Frost Bombs out on these enemies. So when we see the checkpoint, we know that's the boss. Now he's the harder of the two, so perhaps we should have started with the lady. If you're doing this and you have the choice, start with her. She's way easier. Oh, he almost took us out right there. Oh, that hurt. But we like when he does that ability because, yeah, we might have to reset this guy. So with her stuff, we just run away from it. Now that we have some movement speed, we can literally just walk away from it. It's a really bad spot to have him in. Oh, yeah, we ran out of flash charges. Yeah, he's a little difficult for where we're at right now. He's doable, but he's kind of difficult. So we have a couple different options, but I'm not. This is a tough call for everyone. Can you just do it 2 more times and finish him? Maybe. I probably could if I dodged well enough. But also, there's no reason to. Whoops. No reason to fight it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. I'm going to sell some stuff.
Sorry, I like to hold on to bits and another for my collection. Thank you.
And I'm going to go in the bank. We have a normal item to a magic item with mud modifier. So we got some physical damage bonus on there. Intelligence didn't help, but that's fine. If we want to, we can try it again. Nope, didn't help. That's junk now.
Yes, I like to. Oh, I like this.
So we did some crafting. So we got 17% increased physical damage, which is not amazing, but it's not nothing. So we got some extra damage. Um, and another thing we can do, which is, you know, maybe a teeny bit on the cheesy side, but we can do it, is we can spec to shoot the bow while we're in there, and that way we have a way to shoot at this guy. Um, and then we're going to go and do the easier of the 2 bosses, and we're going to also recheck the map and make sure we didn't miss anything. There is... I'm not sure where that is. So there's some sort of loot chest that we didn't get. These we all got, but this loot chest, I think it's in the cemetery. I don't even remember what this is. But we can spend a little time. So it's nice to use the instance that we've already worked on, because that instance is... that instance is half uncovered, and this will make it so we don't have to go through a fresh instance to find it. Is this it? Is this the... Is that the... Yeah, that little... Okay, I remember getting that a lot of times. I didn't realize that was the loot reward that they mark on the map. Okay, that guy over there hurts. We got to be ultra careful. The rare form of the... See that giant wave? We're gonna... This will be exciting, but also we'll get some rare loot, so that's good. Okay. We just need to not get killed by him, and then... Because if we die to him, we don't get the loot. No, we didn't get the bell proc, but I couldn't risk moving. I just needed to get him done. Would have been much faster if we gotten in a position where the bell was in the right place, but something weird happened. Junk. We were so efficient about finding that door that we didn't really do anything with any of this zone. We didn't get any of the chests. So I figured I would just do a little round. Open the chests. Get a level. Now we can decide. At this point, we can decide which direction we're going next. I like, we have Crashing Wave. I like either exiting out of Crashing Wave. I also like getting the skill speed right here. I've also done this before, to go down and pick up not only this defensive stuff, but also this extra freeze buildup, which we will want, and it's pretty accessible. So any of these things are pretty viable. Also, this energy shield cluster is very good, as is this attack damage cluster. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to optimize for bonuses sooner. And I think we're going to go here. We get evasion rating. Now that means we already have some energy shield, so we're getting an energy shield bonus. But it's going to make it advantageous for us to start using evasion rating gear sooner rather than later, rather than just whatever, because we'll get bonuses to evasion rating. Right there, I didn't like that. I felt like I was going to get hurt really bad if I finished that swing, so I dodged out of the swing. I mean, I could see an argument for having taken the at least the level 2 Tempest, just to give us a little bit easier time here. So one of the things we can interpret from what's going on here is, we could be doing attempts on one of those bosses and probably even get them down. But if we're failing them, then we're kind of wasting time. So instead of wasting that time where we're not making progress, I'm just going to make the character a little stronger. Some levels, some stats, and a skill gem. And we could be much stronger. Or even just a gear drop.
I carry few possessions, and I don't have room for that.
Yes, Finn makes fun of my collection, but I think it's charming. Oh, I like this one. Goodbye.
Remember, we're banking the ones that we're just going to sell into there. Oh, there we go. There's the level 3 gem. You don't need maximum mana on this dude, so I'm going to put that away. We can craft this guy and see if we get something better. 3 to 5 cold damage. Is that better? Not really. 9 plus 3 is 12. 5 plus 18 is 23. It's like a hair better. Let's try it. Let's see what we get here. It's totally a wash. our physical damage is going to get converted to cold eventually, but right now it's not. So physical, it's always better to have the same amount of physical damage than to have a bunch of elemental damage, unless you're playing very particular builds. And so we're just going to stick with the physical damage. And we're going to put this guy in our shard pile. And we're going to get Staggering Palm. And we need to socket it. So Staggering Palm dashes the enemy. It will heavy stun them if they're showing there's a stun indicator. I actually should have left that up on the thing, but it'll heavy stun them if they're enemies which are primed for stun will instantly be heavy stunned. And so that helps, and we can do something else to make that even stronger, which is, let's see if we can make it. Can we make that? Oh, we can't make it yet. I feel like there's another gem that comes up where it will break the enemy armor when doing a heavy stun, but it's too early for it. So let's see what else we got here. The two things that can be helpful here are, what did we get? Extra cold damage. This can be very helpful. 10 strength required. And that's where, we could maybe look into something creative, like did anything we get have strength on it? Like this guy. No. If something had strength on it, or we had some more scrolls, we could see if we could get the strength to equip that, because that is really what I want right now. Is I want the Tempest Bell to have rage, because it really increases the boss damage. And absent that, another skill that's interesting is to have what is this called? It repeat. And we can also do freeze buildup. We don't really have the right skills to freeze yet, but that will eventually be useful. But there is a skill that, yeah, this is it. No, that's not it. We might not have it yet either. There's a skill that allows a spell to repeat. Like it's kind of saves up charges and then repeats. And it is pretty effective for Frostbomb. But it looks like we don't have it yet. So the other thing we can do is, we can if we wanted to, we could get a poison spell. I also like concentrated effect because it basically causes something to do more damage with less area, which gives us some flexibility. So, for example, we can put it on Tempest Spell, which will massively increase the damage of Tempest Spell when we're swacking it. And so that's like another. When it's on a boss, we know where the boss is. It's hitting the boss. It's landing on his head. So we don't need much more area. We just need to hit him. And we'll do another round here. That was the... Oops, I forgot to equip the Staggering Palm. Hold on. So right there's the indicator that comes up on their faces. Let's see if I can get one that's more visible. That's primed for stun. So when they're primed for stun, we can stun them and then get this nice wind, extra wind damage. Well, physical damage. Great. So we did, you know, as much as we need to right there. We cleared the zone. If we felt like we needed even more, like we just didn't get enough
I
out of
like
that
to hold on
clear,
to bits and
we
pieces.
could easily
Another for my collection. Thank
go
you.
and
Stay safe.
I'll show you. We can
If you
reset
can.
the zone. So we can click on this on the waypoint. We can choose the zone, cemetery, the eternals, hold down the control button, and then tap it, and we'll get this menu, and we can click new, and it will basically make a fresh instance with all new monsters and all new chests, and we can go around and maybe we get some better loot, and we definitely get some more experience. And so those things can help if we're not actually completing the boss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the easier of the two fights, which is the wife. I'm not saying wives are easy, just that she's the easier of the two fights. Kind of just testing out my damage here to see what we got. So there's the stagger. Oh, we gotta, hold on, we got to deal with this enemy. Yeah, damage feels much better now. +1 level to melee skills. Oh, that's a tough one. I think that might be better than the tiny amount of damage. I mean, we could do the math, but I think we'll just go for it. Now, the downside of getting +1 to melee skills is that melee skills that cost mana will deplete your mana much faster. So now that we have staggering palm, we have a much better tool for being able to get on top of them. I don't think we're going to use that, but we have the bow also. Oh, there's the boss. Oh no, it's not. This is the chest. The chest event. So when they're down a hallway like that, especially if there can be... Oh. Oh, I got canceled. That was awkward. This is where the skill speed comes in handy. We got canceled so many times there. Here, this is all just gravy. It's more XP. Chance to get maybe one other good loot drop. Oh, like a skill gem. When in doubt, back out.
The dream guides.
Possible that she's right over here.
Stay still.
Alright, we found her. And we have one skill point. We can either have 24% energy shield, which would be roughly 1, which seems completely useless. Actually, we can't respec because the fractured one is not available yet. Or we can get 3% skill speed. But I guess we're going here because... Oh, we got more than I thought. What, did I do that math wrong? 25% of... Oh, I see. 25% of 100 would be 25, so 15. We got 15 energy shield, which, I mean, doesn't hurt. Great. Let's see if we can get her done.
You will never leave this place.
I cannot.
How dare you disturb me? Right. Draven, I need you.
And that is
Forbidden thaumaturgy causes nothing but
the
pain
easier
and
of the two.
misery.
Yes, I've collected these over time. What do you think? It's beautiful. I accept.
Chances of us getting better boots are pretty low, but we need this for more health. We're very
Another
low
my
on
collection.
scrolls.
Thank you.
Oh, this stuff should all go
Stay
into
safe,
the
if you can.
identify and sell. Not for this class, but that we can sell.
Yes, please. Oh, I like this one. Bye.
What are we gonna take? We could take Frost Bomb level 3. That would be quite a bit more damage, or we could take Glacial Cascade level 3, which is not necessary. I'm going to go with the Frost Bomb because that's a lot of our damage. One more support gem. Is there anything we need from this? Most of what we want comes later. We don't have any room on that. I think the reality is we just need cold infusion, but we need some more intelligence, so we just won't even worry about that. We'll just bank that thing and go back to the task at hand, which is, after filling up the well, going to kill the husband. Kill. He's already dead. Dispatch. Dispatch the husband.
Thunder!
So we now have two abilities that are invulnerability frames. The first one is dodge roll. The second one is our staggering palm dash. So if you noticed, or you look at it again, when we dashed staggering palm to that enemy, we went right through his projectile. Place that one very well. I'm going to guess, because this hallway goes all the way down the top, that there's going to be a hallway down here that leads to her. And she could be right there, and I could be getting punked by myself, but... Oh, there she is. So no, this is not her. This is the... Regal.
Fate is on my side. I carry few possessions, and I don't have room for that.
Really? We're greedy. We got to take everything in this early game. Eventually, we'll have enough cash that we
Yes,
don't need this,
please.
but...
Take your time.
We can sell
I
that.
will treasure it.
Sell that. Sell that. We're getting some yellows, just not for our class.
Stay safe if you can.
Oops. Okay, the myths, the all-important myths. Looks like maybe over here.
Lightning!
So the staggering palm, where we get to use that prime for stun to get this, ends up feeling a lot better because it's more like we get this situational damage boost and then it lasts a while compared to compared to the lightning stuff where we quite literally spend all of our time killing enemies to try to get a proc that then would kill all the enemies, but they're already dead. And we only get one use of it because it's just this charge. So we get one attack and then that's it. So I don't know. This is just me, personal preference, but I'm not a fan of how the lightning skills feel in the early game. And while we're not really at our curve, a power curve right here. I mean, we have our frost, which I keep misplacing a little bit. We have our frost bomb, which is gonna help now and later, and we buffed it up a bit. But here he is. But when we get ice strike, we're gonna be styling, and it comes soon.
Now, your soul will join my steeple of death. Death now! These spirits are mine! Rend your life.
So there's our staggering palm. We get another bell down. Oh, he almost killed us. He pushed us into the AoE. We're very happy when he does this because he's just going to stand there and do it. And then afterward, he's going to do this thing that we can.
The spirits yearn. Your intrusion will be punished.
Oh, that was unexpected. I thought he was going to die right there. I think we got very unlucky. Caught the corner of it somehow.
You will have eternity to regret your intrusion here.
Not yet.
The spirits yearn. The Eternals will never surrender. Cut down.
I cannot.
Cut down. Cut down. You cannot stop me.
So 2 attempts. Not a hardcore run, but
Dynamite's buried
didn't
here.
take too long.
Finally, no peace.
Also, those attempts, you know, when we have a little bit of damage, they feel a lot better because they don't take that long. You know, this isn't like we're on the other side of it. This isn't like a super long attempt where we're running around for a long time. This is basically 2 waves of bell,
Hello.
putting some
These
hurt
are
on
just
him.
some odds and ends of mine.
Oh, finally. Except we don't have any scrolls to identify them, so
Stay
we
safe.
will just
if
put
you
them in
can.
the. We're going to probably use those, and We don't know anything about this. That can sell. Probably going to use that. Unknown.
Sorry, please.
One thing we could have done
It's
that would have
play
maybe made
safe.
that fight a little easier is we could have, instead of trying to make that extra weapon, we could have used that magic crafting on one of our armor items instead. Let's see, support gem. Do we have any way to put anything useful on here? Yeah, more physical damage, brutality. We need more strength. We're just like gated a little bit behind strength. So when we get our first node out of our little home spot, we'll get some strength and then we'll be cooking. Off to the cemetery. Now this boss, you know, can be easy, can be hard, depending on how you roll. He has all of his abilities, but one can be line of sighted by the cemetery. He has a big directional slam that'll go right through the cemetery. So, depending on how you play it, you can either play Ring Around the Rosie on the cemetery, and then just be very careful to always stay moving because of the slam. You don't, when he does it, you won't be able to see it if you're Ring Around the Rosieing. Hardest thing about him is that, unlike everyone else we've been dodging, he tends to do these 2-hit dodges, or like two swing hits. So it was a calculated choice. I decided I'd rather take that damage to the face and get this off. So, he just has a few abilities. Oh, that hurt. We're gonna stagger him, and he's done.
Rejoin your family, tortured soul.
She's finally gonna wake up the hooded one. What did we get here? Regal Orb. And a skill gem. Let's keep these organized. I have a gems tab, but I'm going to keep this simple so that it's the same as what someone might be doing if they didn't have any of these magic tabs. We'll start with these. See if they're upgrades. Is that an upgrade? Looks like yes. So let's get that on. Is that an upgrade? Maybe. We'll call it an upgrade for now, and maybe they'll even have something that's more appropriate. Ironically, that might be almost more damage. Not that we're even using our bow, but oh no, I guess it's technically anyway, it doesn't matter. We're not even really going to use that.
I've collected it's beautiful. I accept. Stay safe.
Now we're going to do our identify.
Yes, Finn makes fun of my collection. I will treasure it.
Maybe keep that for something else. Don't need that. Keep that for something else. Kind of a tough call, but I'm going to use it.
Oh, I like. Stay safe. If you can.
Oops. Need this.
Yes?
Hello. Finn most fun of my collection, but I will treasure it.
We don't have any minions. That seems better. It's pretty comparable. I mean, we slightly want the evasion, but rarity is
Oh, I like this one.
maybe useful. I don't know. Is it useful? It seems, as long as we survive, better to have rarity. And these guys can go. And we need that one.
Sorry, I was just... Yes? I've collected these over time. What do you think?
That's a pretty good weapon. Not for...
Bye.
Let's put it there. Great. Do we have any level 3 skills that we can get that we care about? No, we're still waiting for Ice Strike in level 14. Frost Bomb's already level 3. I mean, we can get this upgraded to level 3 now that we have an extra.
Sorry, I was just...
And we have a support gem. So we could... we're gonna save that for rage. We really want rage, so we're gonna save that for rage, and then we can go back to where we were and walk through the door.
Finally, familiar terrain.
Now the hunting grounds has a number of different enjoyable mechanics with these dudes.
Feel the shock.
This is one of the other reasons I'm not a fan of the lightning skills, because they're very slow, and I would rather just auto those things to death than wait for the lightning. Oh, there's more. Let's see, projectiles are our nemesis here. Oh, that ran out of health potions. That was sad. The other reason that I don't like Falling Thunder is that Falling Thunder does not produce bell charges. So when bell is our big damage nuke, it feels very awkward to be, you know, buffing up Falling Thunder, only to then have to not use it because it doesn't generate charges. See here. No charge. Rare. I'd like to have a little more room. Oh. Fun. We're definitely in the use too many potions phase. think when next time I go to town, I'm going to try respecking into the skill speed and see if it feels better. So, for example, you know, in the beginning of this video, I talked about how some have advocated that you should level using a bow exclusively, like you should just use a bow until you get whatever skills you're trying to get. And you can see I do not agree with this. I think that little killing the mini bosses and things is so strong with the quarterstaff. And of course, you could do a hybrid quarterstaff bow, but I still think that you're better off just using some ranged damage. You can either use glacial strike like this, or you can use probably take you a little while to get to the point where you're mixing in as many abilities as that quickly, but it's there. It's there for you.
Pay them a visit. None of it's junk. Go make a legend or... Hey. Yeah, sure. I'll take it off your hands. Sure, I'll take it off your hands.
Evasion, raining, and energy shield. That's what we wanted. That's a tougher call. 9 to maximum life is not bad, but I'm gonna stick with the rarity. It's gonna be our lucky. It'll be our lucky. Yeah. Let's see.
See you.
Life recovery from flasks. Let's take this and put another modifier on it. Oh yeah, life per second. That's good. That's something.
Why look, take a pun. Sure, I'll take it off your hands. Farewell, hero.
It's in my... Stay safe if you can.
Let's see if Renly has anything for us.
Here's what I've got.
19 to 31. That's a ginormous upgrade. 23 to 37. That is even with oh my god, that's like giant. So look at that upgrade. That's massive. So we're definitely going to buy that. And we'll see if there's anything else in here that... The rares tend to be pretty darn expensive. But sometimes they're worth it. Is that worth it? I probably would say no, but... Let's see what else. If it was 15 or 20% movement speed boots, I would be in on it. That's what we need to save it for. Yeah, that's a tough one. I really do want to get that, but it's really just a little bit of evasion. Well, I guess it's 34 evasion instead of armor. It's literally just a little bit of energy shield and a little bit of evasion. And some resistances that could help. Let's go strong. We'll take it. Great. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment with...
Let's try something different.
Instead of this, we're going to take skill speed. I saw someone do this, and they said it was good, so we're going to try it. And then we get to decide what else are we doing here. I think we probably should just go out via skill speed. So we'll do that. So we should notice a little bit of a... Oh yeah, that's a good DPS boost. Come on. This is slowly starting to feel a little more like a character. So right there, the dash that I did, that was 2 dashes that were both avoiding damage. If it's timed, you will dash right through the damage. That's a dodge roll through the damage. All that damage I took to the face. This looks like an exit door, so we're back to our exit door strategy of, remember, you see a door, go through it, hope there's a waypoint on the other side. Whoops, I don't know, we don't actually need that, but
A surreal.
we just need the waypoint. Boom. So there's, if we look at the map of where we are, we can see there's 2 exits we need. This is one of them we just got. This is the other one. So we're doing the perimeter looking for the Orgrim farmlands exit. Other thing nice about Ice Strike, in addition to the fact that it generates spell charges, is that Ice Strike also has a mini dash built into it. And so it's, you can basically kind of move around with Ice Strike. I hit my potion because this is a lot of chaos. Mostly my priority that whole time was getting it so that I don't get hit by the projectiles. Can I not get hit by the projectiles while finding a moment to get in and nuke them? Which is why I circled them, so that when they're shooting projectiles, I'm moving out of the place that they were shooting to. And here's the boss.
Another corrupted abomination. I'm unable. Get back here.
We can also use Staggering Palm to chase him. I mean, we're kind of burning some mana doing this, but... Staggered him with Staggering Palm. Oops. Our positioning was wrong, so I don't think we were hitting him and the... So he's already leaving. He's already running. I'm just holding Staggering Palm, and I don't even think I have to keep my mouse turn on him, because I think that it does some kind of weird lock-on, which I actually hate. Boss dead. I mean, you don't have any special gear. All we're doing is holding auto. This literally, we're not even using a mana spell there for the attacks. We're just using the regular quarterstaff strike with tempo for attack speed because it's free, no mana, and additional stun buildup. Now we could also switch out when we have a little more strength. We can put a damage in there now. And we could put a damage in there and take that one out, and we'd lose it because we just don't have enough strength to run 2 gems. And you know, generally, I would say I do softly prefer going damage before stun, because you stun with damage, you might as well just do more damage and stun. Like, why would you do less damage and then have more stun? In fact, I'm not even sure why. Let's check and see what happened there. If I take that out, oh, we can get these 2 skill points. I'm going to see if I can cut a support gem for that. I don't know if it wasn't available. More physical damage. That's what we want. Oh, so yeah, we can have 35% more physical damage. That would even make these things go faster. And when we have the extra strength, because right now we don't, we need, you know, every gem, like when you're looking at this gem takes 5 strength. It like kind of, it's a little bit weird, but it uses your strength as a pool to fuel your skills. So if you want another one of these gems that's 5 strength, you have to have 10 strength, because it's 5 strength for this one and 5 strength for that one. It's like you can't lift both gems at once. I don't know what the mentality is, but it you know, it kind of makes sense. And so we can't equip this until we have a little more strength, which we can get right now, because we just take this node and say strength, and then we can take this stun and we can put it right on nothing, because we don't have anything. We can put it on staggering palm, though. That's not really that great. We should put stun duration on staggering palm. We can put it, for now, we'll just put it on frost bomb. It's not really, when we get some more sockets, we'll have more options. And we're gonna have him identify our stuff.
Why look? None of it's just
Sell
not sure
that.
what I'm gonna do with it, but
That's
cheers.
definitely worse, though. It did have attack speed, which was nice, but still not good enough. We can look at that, see. So it has 5% attack speed, which is nice, but it's not nice enough. Our current one is almost 100% more damage, so that's not enough attack speed to matter. And not going to use that.
Not bad.
We could use an evasion rating, but it's actually lower evasion rating, so that's no good. That's not going to be used. These things can all get banked. This guy can go in the low rare. Do we have any more support gems we can get? We don't really have any sockets that matter, is the thing. Like, we can put something on this. Is there a stun duration? No, we don't have it yet. I think there is a stun duration, but we could get effect duration for the projectiles, which would be nice, but need some more strength. So, and then strength is not bad, because we're also getting health out of getting strength. But mostly we need to decide which way we're pathing here. And there's sort of 2 options. One option is the path up here, headed for the staff up this vein. Another option is the path up for this vein. Most people build their builds off the top vein. And then the other question is, how much do you want to beeline for the staff? So you try to go there as quickly as possible, maybe picking up a couple ancillary nodes on the way. Or how much do you want to just get all the stuff you can get in the vicinity and then respec later? Right here, this is quite a bit of damage. It's 10 attack damage, 28% attack damage, 44% attack damage in these 3 nodes, which is quite a lot, and we can get it long before we can make it all the way to the staff. So I do quite like this cluster. I also like, 20% increased freeze buildup when we get to the freeze. And this node right here is very popular. 8% reduced mana cost and 20% increased mana regen. So all these things are pretty viable. I'm going to start moving down this way towards the attack damage. And, you can look around and you can find your own stuff. The idea here is to get a feel for what makes a build work, not to have you do exactly what I do. I mean, by all means, there's a lot of builds out there. Look at all of them. Look at what people are doing and then kind of synthesize. And if you want to do exactly what they're doing to see how it plays, by all means, do it. But don't feel like you have to stick exactly to it. So Falling Thunder feels pretty bad with the bell because you're hitting people with Falling Thunder, and then you're in that situation where you just need all of them to die, and you can't throw a bell down because you don't have. I think we've got everything there. We did the small boss and the big boss. Oh, we didn't do the ritual. We need to do the ritual. Another thing good about making use of our main attack staff this early in the game is that it automatically levels up when we level, and so we don't have to invest the pretty scarce, I would say, skill gems. We put support gems into, but we don't have to invest our skill gem upgrades into keeping it current, so it doesn't fall behind. It just is always current with our character level.
This bodes ill. I should ask an Ezomite about this altar.
I did that really quickly because we got our buff, and I was trying to. We only got like 1 second of it. So I did a staggering palm right there to hit the buff again.
So,
Okay, that's that.
Greetings.
why look? None of it's junk.
Okay. Do we have it yet? We're close. Just a little while longer, we'll have it. I'm gonna go for the bell upgrade, and we have some choices here. But so if we look at a zone like this zone, it says monster level 11, and so this is a good way to judge where we should be going next. Oh, and I need to. If you hover these guys, that are flashing, it'll stop them from flashing. So this one, this is saying that these are all done. We got them all collected. This is collected. This one's still available. If we look at this level, it says monster level 11. If we go to this zone, it says monster level 12. And you might intuitively think, well, you should go in order to the lowest level, but that's not always the case. I personally find the Ogum Farmlands far easier to do than Freythorn, because the Freythorn boss at the end is somewhat tough. And so just like we skipped some stuff in the beginning, we're going to sort of move by the Freythorn and go to Ogum Farmlands first. And then we'll come back and do the boss in that zone. Oops. In an ideal world, we will get our... What level are we? 2 more levels? 2 more levels to Ice Strike, I think. So in this zone, every time I've ever been in it, all we're doing is going to the southwest, all the way southwest corner. We need 2 things that are essential. We need the exit to the next zone, the door, and we need the Yuna's flute that she asked us to get. That's the quest. Search for Luna's flute. Oh, and I should have mentioned, if you're wondering why some of the things, some of the drops come up with slightly different looking appearance, it's because,
the girl's despair.
we'll see. We'll just take this for cash. It's because I have a loot filter installed that just does the colorization. It doesn't hide anything, but it's colorizing, and it helps me notice. Helps me notice the quality and socket items better, because otherwise they just don't really look like much unless they have the socket dust. And you can go online and search. So we got Eunice Flute. Whoops, actually. Now, if we felt like that, well, I didn't mean to click on that. I was trying to kill the guy. If we felt like that was a problem, that we were in the middle of that, you can dodge roll out of it. You can dodge roll out of everything. 2 more passive points. We're really cruising now. Gonna go here, and I guess we'll get dexterity, and then we'll get strength, and we will be able to cut that rage gem now. Bell. So rage. We're gonna leave in the area damage. We're gonna take out the cold damage because we have plenty of places we can put the cold damage on. Actually, it wouldn't be bad to do this the other way. Nah, we'll take the. Well, we just want more damage, bigger damage, more damages, all the damages.
Who knows what prize is away?
Sell.
Take it off your hands.
Sell.
Farewell.
Low rare. Okay. So that item right there, see? So this item has a different appearance because it has quality +5. So I picked that up because we're going to shard it. And I got to actually put it down. So here, if I try to start the portal, I can just dodge roll out of it. Start the portal, dodge roll out of it. So if you're ever in a situation where you're doing a lever or a portal or anything and you just feel that it seems bad. Ooh, that was accidental. Now when I'm fighting like this, I definitely, as soon as that fight started, I popped a health potion because it was like, I knew that the damage would be coming in and I didn't want to have it not ticking. So I was kind of getting the potion going right away. Just got to find the exit door, which could be anywhere. Okay, this is the crop circle event. This is the third thing in this zone. So we just go here and some dogs are going to come. Pop the health potion. Make sure you don't stand in that. Another health potion. Want to attack the dog to death. Pick up the stuff. Oh, is that a dog attacking me? Ours is better. There's the exit door. So again, I said it would be on the southwest corner or southwest edge. So I've only ever seen this on the southwest edge. So I just always walked the southwest edge and there it is. Ironically, I find this boss easier than the Freythorn boss. So I prefer to go through this zone. And I think, if I remember correctly, well, this was a little bit confused during launch, but I think Renly's tools are in this zone, and that's what opens up the salvage bench. But I think the salvage bench unlocking is, you know, a count-wide, quote-unquote, if I remember correctly, unless they changed it in some way. But Now, I don't have any other single solo self-found characters, so I've never done it in solo self-found. Oh, those little piggies. So I'm taking a long path around this zone for two reasons. One is that I believe that Renly's tool is in this zone. I could check, I guess. And the other reason is that it's not going to hurt to have the experience. I guess I should check. Let's check. I'll show you how to check. Okay, get rid of the flashing. Okay, Renly's Tools is in Ogum Village. And that's where we are. Yeah, so Renly's Tools is in here. And that is what gives us access to the salvage bench. Because he left him in the village. I mean, how could we salvage anything when his tools were in the village? Clearly that is something we need to help him with. So I'm on the perimeter of the zone. Just complete perimeter. This, I think, is Renly's Tools. I'm waiting for the explosion, then dash onto him. I'm holding down the left mouse button. I health potion. Move out of the snow.
I must maintain a fine balance.
Oh, really? Can't pick that up. We can give Renly his tools back.
Here's what I've got. Deal.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't be doing that. I should identify. You get more cash selling identified stuff, so
Whatever it takes.
always identify it.
Manor's house. You've take a punt. You know you want to.
Now that's a quality item, so we got to salvage it. This we can sell.
What I'm gonna do with it.
That we can sell.
Cheers.
I prefer life recover from class, which we already have. And this item we're going to put in the bank under
Famous, eh?
low rare. Okay, so these are some level 4 sockets, so we can start to get our skills kind of catching up, because we don't have enough intelligence. So here, like 25 intelligence required. So Frost Bomb at some point, it does fall off in damage because we're not going to keep upgrading it, because we're just not going to keep our intelligence that high. But the exposure is minus 20% cold resistance, no matter what level it is. So when the damage starts to fall off, we're still getting the benefit from cold exposure. So, and if we want, we can increase the quality to get even more cold exposure. And so this gives us basically just the ability. I mean, you don't, as we move on, you might not use it very much at all. And you can just look, and if you see a cold resistant mob, for example, you can say, oh, well, I guess we need to cold exposure this mob because it's cold resistant. It doesn't have to be every single one. Oh, and let's get these guys salvaged. So we just take off the hammer. Make sure you're not salvaging something that you don't want to salvage. And now we have these quality shards and socket shards that eventually will accumulate into giving us a socket and quality improvements. The quality improvements you're not going to use at all. You're just going to bank them. Don't even think about using them until I mean, I would personally say I didn't use quality shards until 70 because you just don't need to. There's no need. I mean, you see we're evaporating these bosses. They're not hard. And so until you run into something that is truly a challenge where the content is hard and there's no access to some some kind of better gear, skills, or levels that it's easy, you don't need to worry about quality. I only started doing it around, I would say, tier 4 maps. That was when I started working on quality. And some people might even say that that's not necessary. Could be there or could be north. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go this way and just check. Okay, here we go. Found the boss.
Don't do this. Stop. Just wait. Surely we can.
Oh, that was gruesome.
This is littered with death.
I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson for that, buddy.
Ogham deserves one.
Now, this guy has one ability that is truly dangerous. It is the guillotine. It comes from the sky. And when he does it... Oh, come on. You'll see it. When he does it... That's the guillotine. That's the one ability that will kill you instantly. So... Whoops. That ended up misplaced.
Is up. Guillotine.
There's the guillotine. Except it's pronounced guillotine. Someone needs... Oh, that hurt. Another thing that's unique about the bell, though we kind of missed it right there, is you can... You can hit the bell even with Glacial Cascade at range, and it will reflect. So if for some reason you get pushed out like that, you can still AoE. Now, one of the unique things about this game is, of course, if they kill us, we lose the ability to grab that loot. So kind of need to be a little bit careful. I mean, this isn't really anything super important, but
Good night.
it does suck if you lose that loot. Yes, I didn't forget about you. So we don't have to go through that door. It will we'll get the waypoint for the next zone because there's no door back, and so we can just go right back to town, identify. And we need half of a level to achieve our goal of equipping Ice Strike.
Hey.
So in the whoops.
Enter the map. It's all gone.
Ah, none of it's junk. Trust me.
Armor, but less energy shield. Not using that, not using that. Ooh, what did we get here? +1 to all melee. And +1 to 4 physical damage, 2 to 3 fire damage. That is very good.
Not
He's
sure
got a
what
little bit of
I'm
luck.
doing, but cheers.
And we can also look, because we're getting into content that's a little harder, and this weapon is pretty good. I mean, 42% increased physical damage and +2 to level is really quite good. So if we have do we have a shard that will upgrade that magic item to a rare? Okay, so we're going to use this Regal Orb that's going to upgrade a magic item to a rare. And what did we get? critical hit chance. Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. Augments a rare item with a new modifier, Exalted. Adds 1 to 12 lightning damage. Now we're really talking. Our top end damage just went from 37 to 49. So, and not to mention we did get, that crit is not bad. So that was quite a serious upgrade. Now, yes, you can play this game in some grand minimization strategy where you don't spend on anything and just bank it all. But then you wonder why it's hard. I'll be frank. I didn't craft. I didn't spend like that on my first go through. And if you get lucky, if you get like a really, you get a really good weapon. I mean, the weapon was already pretty good. Get a really good weapon. You don't have to, but it also doesn't hurt. Okay, so now we're going to take our 10% attack damage because I am about damage, and more damage. And then we have two options here. We can move towards the Manor, or we can go do Freythorn. Because I personally think that the mechanic of this Freythorn boss, where he stuns, he has a stun, and if he stuns you, he can land stuff on you, is pretty brutal. Like it just, you can just be RNG unlucky where you just get stunned and killed a couple times. I like to just save it because it's not urgent. And it will only be easier if we move forward. And most of the stuff we're going to do on the way there is going to be just, XP, just killing random dudes. So I'm totally fine with that. We're just going to move forward. It's never clear which direction we need to go here, whether it's... Yeah, okay, this is the right direction. So all I did is try to stay out of the circles. Like hit them, but stay out of the circles. Oh, and yeah, it looks like this is backwards. That may have seemed like a lot was happening, but it was mostly just hit the boss, put the bell down, and if I'm in a circle, move. That's really all there was. Now, as we get these packs with more complicated stuff, whoop, don't stand in that. We get to a place where we want to start prioritizing targets. So, when there's a like this, I want to prioritize the target, except he had a big AoE on it. Darn it. That blood on the ground definitely hurts. And what's our level here? 14 and we are 13. So we're one level below. If this is punishing and you find that you can't outmaneuver them, this, being a level or two above the zone definitely makes things substantially easier. My strategy here is to... Oh, that's a rare. Is to back them in. This guy needs to die. And this guy needs to die. And then that guy. Mostly I just need to not end up in those blood pools is the goal. Oh. Okay, we're gonna try one more time because I still believe that this is doable. And if I die one more time, we'll go back to the other zone. But I mean, we're still doing pretty good on time. We're very close to the end of Act 1. This will be substantially easier with Ice Strike, so part of the reason I wanted to come here is because you can see I'm already almost high enough to get Ice Strike. So once I can get that, I'm going to be in business. Okay. Gonna get a moment of pause here. Get our ice strike. And we're gonna put it in place of falling thunder. And we are not gonna look back. We're gonna get our cold damage, put it on ice strike. We're gonna put our stun buildup on ice strike. We could, if we want to, actually, we're going to go the other way. We're going to go this way. We're going to put, oh, that is physical damage. We have to leave it there. We can put the attack speed on here, and it does feel better, but we don't know if we'll have mana that's okay. So we'll just try. And the other thing that we can do is we can, if we want to, swap this out and say, put the stun buildup on the Tempest Bell, which will also really cause us to have a lot of stun buildup, and it just forgives some damage. But I think I'm going to stick with more damage on Tempest Bell, and then Ice Strike is going to be attack speed and extra cold damage. And if it burns our mana too much, then we can always take the attack speed off.
Good night.
And when we can, we're gonna put freeze support on Ice Strike, because our goal is to get it to freeze. And actually, we could yeah, see, we're out of mana. So we'll take that off. It was a bit of an experiment. I didn't know how it would work right now. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to clear our bags. We're going to switch that up, and we're going to see if we can get the freeze support gem, which I think we can get.
Greetings.
Ice Strike. Freeze. Freeze duration. I guess that's not the... Yeah, this is what I wanted. Or we could just stick to damage. So we have to move this off because it's taking too much mana. You know, at one point someone said that this physical gem, Brutality, can go into Ice Strike and it will increase the physical damage and then it will do the cold damage. But I don't believe that because of the way the tooltip's written. That doesn't seem plausible. So I think that we're going to have to Ice Strike. We're going to go with Crescendo so that it basically swings the... Ice Strike is designed where after 3 attacks, it causes a final strike that's slower, more powerful, and Crescendo causes the final strike to go multiple times, which kind of causes some additional damage. So we'll go with Crescendo,
None of
and
it's junk. Trust me.
we're gonna
Guess I can
get
help
rid of
move that
this
for you.
junk. Yeah, no, it's junk. Evasion rating and energy shield. Cold resistance. It's close. I kind of like the
Guess
stats
I can
though.
help
It
move that for you.
makes our build a little more flexible.
Remember us when you're famous, eh?
We are going to talk to the hooded
I
one.
must meditate.
And even though I wanted this, I'm going to take the freeze build up instead because I really want to get the freeze build up to get these guys to freeze. And we will see why in a moment. And the next thing on our list for our DPS is, yeah, there we go. So there's the two. The two big strikes. The next thing on our list of damage things we want is Herald of Ice. When we have Herald of Ice, when we kill those frozen targets, they will explode and they will shatter the other frozen targets, and then we'll be in real business with the DPS. For a little while, we're going to be hurting on mana. So this freeze, this like almost guaranteed freeze, is why I changed those points around. Check that in a bit. I doubt it'll be better than we have. So when we do this, where we're kind of going to a higher level zone, and you know, we died a couple times, but we handled the challenge, and what we get out of that is we're leveling faster, and when we this is the treasure on this map, so you got to come up here and get the treasure, you know, the map treasure. If we look at the map, it's this right here. How can one follow the law when the land itself is fighting against you? I guess we were supposed to get the gem from the criminal who broke the law. Now we're really moving. Not only because of doing some more damage, but also because we are mostly insta-freezing everything. Well, that's a lot. Gotta make sure we have mana for this. And I just want to make sure I don't get in a big blood pool, so I'm gonna pull this off to the other side, so if I have to back up, I have somewhere to back up to, and then time for the bell. I hit the mana potion to keep the mana going, and I'm in the blood.
Today is a good day.
That's a rare. So I'll one thing at a time. Oh, he's got fire underneath him. That's not friendly. I'm going to use the fact that my bell is down. I staggering palmed him to get the damage buff, and then calculated that I could kill him before he came out of freeze, and there we go. Now we're rolling.
Good night.
When we have Herald of Ice, which actually as soon as we get the spirit from that other boss, I think we might be able to equip Herald of Ice. So we got to the end of the zone, get through the door, get the checkpoint. Now for most people,
The walls.
there will be a period where one might have to clear the manor a couple times in order to finish the boss. I mean, we shouldn't have to, but if you're not,
Take
you
your
know,
time.
totally comfortable with the mechanics and the fight and the way this build works, or whatever build you're playing, it might take you a few tries. Okay, this is definitely not an upgrade.
Guess I can help move that for you.
I mean, that's interesting. We could. No, we're not going to do anything with that.
Watch yourself out there.
We're going to
What have we got? Here's what I got.
check Renly. I do not think he's going to have an upgrade for us because our staff is fat, but that's actually pretty good. But still not an upgrade for us because our staff is fat. And let's see. We're looking to see if there's anything that's, you know, relevant enough that it would keep us alive. I mean, that's a lot of energy shield, like a giant amount, which would be really nice. We give up some evasion rating, but it could be a contender. Um, 18% rarity. That's why I really want that. It's too expensive, though. I'm going to think about this. I'll be right back.